I'm now really pleased to welcome my colleague Hugh McFaul from the Faculty of Law, together with Maria McNicholl from St Giles Trust. We heard a little bit about St Giles from CJ, who works there, and Maria and Hugh are going to tell you a bit about a partnership between these two organisations.
So if I'd have known a bit more about the speakers who are coming on before me, I think I wouldn't have agreed to do this. It's given us a very tough act to follow, but it's great to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you about the Open Justice Centre and our partnership with the St Giles Trust. So we're handling this as a very equitable partnership. So I'll start by giving some introductions to how this partnership has arrived, and then Maria will give you the really interesting information about how the project actually works and what benefit it gives to St Giles. So as I was sat there, I've been reflected on the project that's been going for about 2 years now, and all the people on the panel so far have been very instrumental in getting us to this position. So initially, when I started to investigate the possibility of engaging in student-led prison-based projects, both Ruth and Amy were very supportive in helping me formulate my ideas, and Ruth McFaul was also very supportive in getting the project off the ground. And CJ as well has appeared in our teaching material, so she's gone from doing a law degree by hand to appearing in the online version that we now have. So our prison projects form part of the Open Justice Centre, and all our prison projects are very collaborative in nature. So essentially they're a collaboration between the Open University and St Giles and the host prison, but also more importantly, I think, they're a collaboration between the Open University students we send into the prison and the prison learners in the prison. So it's very much a collaboration, and I'm very pleased to say that Kevin, one of our students from one of the projects, he's hiding there in the corner, he's waving at you there, he's here, and also my colleague Karen Bright, who led on the projects, is here as well, so I'm really pleased about that. So the idea of sending law students to prison can raise a few eyebrows. It certainly did when I first mooted it in the department meetings, so I think it's helpful if I give you some context on the Open Justice programme, on the Open Justice Centre, to explain how the logic of how we've come to this point. So we've heard from our Vice-Chancellor today that although the Open University is 50 years old, the law school is only just reaching its 20-year anniversary. So it's a relative newcomer to the OU curriculum. So as a father of adolescent girls myself, I can say that the teenage years come with some turbulence. But if I can take some comfort from my own daughters growing up, that the OU Law School, now it's past its teenage years, has emerged as a confident, outward-looking and socially engaged entity. So it's too early to tell whether my daughters will take the same path, but I hope they do. So in the 20 years that the OU Law School has been going, we've grown to be the largest provider of undergraduate legal education in the country, the largest part-time provider. So we've got 6,000 students registered across the whole of the UK. So we're very much a four-nation university, and it's testimony to the increased confidence in the law school that the university has backed the formation of the Open Justice Centre, which was formed in 2016 to build a bridge between the law school and the wider community. So the Open Justice Centre aspires to be a source of free legal advice, guidance and education to the public, and to provide, importantly, an invaluable experiential learning opportunity for our students. So to pursue this end, we've developed a range of projects, school-based legal education workshops, a highly innovative, fully online legal advice clinic. We've done some partnership working with Citizens Advice, Refugee Action and Young Citizens, and we've worked with the Personal Support Unit to provide support to litigants in person. But a really important part of our project, and one that I'm particularly proud of, is our relationship with the St Giles Trust and our ability to, with their support, to develop some partnership projects in prisons over the last 2 years. So we've worked in Wormwood Scrubs, HMP Send, HMP Oakwood, Sudbury, HMP Altcourse, and I've got further projects in other prisons planned in the next academic year. But why send our students to prison? Well, the short answer, as you've seen from CJ, is many of our students are already working in prison. They're already studying in prison. So the OU has a long-standing commitment to prison education. And we've seen that for many prisoners, the OU offers the only significant opportunity, the only realistic opportunity to get a degree while serving their sentence in prison. And I'm pleased to say, in response to John's comments around the online nature of our degree, that we've been working very hard over the last couple of years to move our online law degree to change it in a way that's suitable for the prison estate. So we've been working with the prison estate, and I'm really pleased to say that our new online law degree has been modified to an extent that is now open for business for prison learners. And I'm pleased to say that we've got our first cohort of new prison learners who are studying the Open University law degree have started this October. So I'm really pleased to be able to announce that. So the ambition and ability of the Open Justice Centre to develop legal education projects in prison can be seen, I think, as an organic development of our long-standing commitment to prison education and the relationships that we've built with partners such as the St Giles Trust over many years. And these projects give our students the opportunity to make several prison visits over a period of about 6 to 8 weeks to support the work of the St Giles peer advisors. And Maria will explain a bit more about their role. Now, the feedback we've got from our own students, our own Open University students who are sent in to do these legal literacy projects in the prison has been very strong. So I'd like to just read 2 very short pieces of feedback from our students to show you the impact that it's had on our law students. So one student says, "This opportunity provided by the OU has given me, I must say, hand on heart, has changed my view of prison completely." Another student said, "I didn't anticipate the effect that this journey that I was about to embark upon would have upon my life, both as a law student and as a person. My fellow students, the Open University tutor, the inmates we work with, and the staff at the prison made this experience one that I will never forget. And the experience is a must for any law student." So we're in no doubt that these projects are highly beneficial for our students, and they serve our Open Justice mission and serve the Open University's mission, in my view. But it's up to Maria really to be the judge of whether they really do benefit our partners in the prison. So Maria.
Okay. Hi everybody, so I'm Maria from St Giles Trust. I've worked for St Giles Trust for 16 years, mainly in our prison projects, developing and delivering our peer advice programme. So I'm lucky because CJ has set the scene. At St Giles, our main focus is to harness the lived experience of our workers to then deliver services to our clients. And that journey really begins in the prison with our peer advice programme. In prisons, we try to recruit the prisoners that are in peer support roles who help other prisoners from the start of their journey in reception when they first come in, through the induction wing, helping them get on courses in education and helping them at the other end in resettlement to access housing advice, how to sort out their benefits, make appointments with, GPs, get IDs, and the key, I think, that makes the project different, because as has already been explained, nothing would happen in prison if it wasn't for the prisoners. They do everything, and that includes the support services. And the key difference is that we want to ensure that our peer advisors get a proper qualification. So that's why we deliver a level 3 in advice and guidance accredited through City and Guilds, who are here tonight. And that's really where our partnership with Open University began, because definitely back in the day there were very few organisations offering higher level relevant qualifications to prisoners, and OU and ourselves were 2 of the organisations that were. So we've always linked in with Open University, and quite often our peer advisors, as CJ's demonstrated, are often doing an OU course as well. In fact, the OU aren't averse to stealing our staff. And there's a lady down there, Lynn, who was our great trainer, fantastic from Wandsworth Prison and now has a different role at the OU. But there you go. But over the years, we've tried to kind of solidify our partnership. And finally, with the Open Justice Project, that happened. So we linked in with Karen Bright, who's over there. And I want to just give you a case study of how that happened at HMP Send. So Kieran brought in a group of final year law students to work with our group of peer advisors in the prison. So they were women in prison who were already in helping roles. So they already were working across the prison in all the different areas. So they were ideal to be placed to use the resources that they could develop with the law students. So the first session, they came in over 3 months with breaks in between to develop the resources. The first session was deciding what to do. Massive subject, you know, human rights, prison law, employment law. But the women decided on housing. They wanted to work on housing because, as our colleagues from Cambridge explained before, St Giles Trust, we're at the sleeping bag end. You know, that's our work. And to give you an idea of the complexity, so a woman in Send who we train might well end up advising a woman a couple of days before release whose children are in care, she's going out, she's homeless, she can't get her children back because she's homeless, but she can't get housed through the local authority because she's not deemed priority need, because she is not a primary carer. So that's the kind of complexities that we're training prisoners to give advice on. So obviously Open University law students coming in are a massive asset to us. By the second session, the OU students have been off, they've done their research, they come back with a coherent idea of what sort of information the peer advisors needed. They worked on that, they went away, the last session was about fine-tuning it, and they produced a toolkit. And obviously that has been fantastically useful because, as has been explained, there's no internet. Our peer advisors can't do a few clicks, find out how to present at homeless person unit in Southwark, for example. So they need actual physical, you know, pieces of paper with the information on, and that's what the OU students produced. Of course, we've got it online as well, so we can adapt it, we can print it out, and we can give it to our peer advisors, not just in HB Send, but in all. We work in about 30 prisons, so we can use that resource in all of them. So it was massively beneficial. In terms of other specific benefits, I'd say the commitment and enthusiasm of the OU students was amazing, and it was contagious. The level of confidence in the women went through the roof, who they were working with. The lively and engaging discussions that Karen was part of were really beneficial to both parties. It also provided opportunities for the women to reflect between the visits on different aspects of the law. And finally, the usefulness of the end product. That can't be overemphasised. So going forward, I'm going to say we've got development points. I know that's what you say in education. You don't say, oh, it's challenges. So Karen and I have sat down. We've gone through. I mean, a development point for us next year is to manage expectations. Because I think both St Giles Trust staff and the peer advisors thought, woo, we're getting lawyers in and we're going to be able to do this. So we need to make it clear that, you know, they are law students and we're working together on this. It's not a finished project. We want one lead, one main contact, so it's more coherent going forward. We've also decided to be a bit dictatorial because it was such a wide subject, and really a lot of the first session was wasting deciding what to do. So I think Kieran and I and the prison trainers are going to sit down and decide on some set themes and just go in and do that. And finally, we want the prisoners to take more responsibility because, okay, we know there's no internet, there's all that, but there is a library and they're really good librarians, there's really good prison staff, there's other great organisations coming into prison. So I think as well as tasking the OU students with going off and coming up with resources, we ought to give the prisoners some responsibility for doing some of their research. And next year we're going global, well, we're going into Wales. Almost, yeah. And we want to keep the diversity. We're going into different types of prisons and men's and women's prisons. So, yeah, look at the space.
Great.
Okay.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.